Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry. Today we're going to talk about a preview of the next summon showcase, Gala Dragalia, as well as some of the issues with the New Year's raid, my haul, and the compensation we'll be receiving as a result of all of that. So right off the bat, let's get into Gala Dragalia. This is going to be a brand new type of summon showcase, where the initial appearance rate for 5 stars is increased to 6% from the standard 4%. The other big thing with this showcase is limited time versions of adventures will be added, available only while Gala Dragalia is active. So rather than be a proper limited time showcase like some of the seasonals that we've gotten, this one seems more like a legendary showcase where powerful characters will appear in alternate versions, and every month or every time they return to the Gala Dragalia, those characters will be available again. That's what I'm getting from reading this, of course, but it could be different in implementation. The first Gala Dragalia is going to be active from January 10th to January 14th. And let's go ahead and get into this adventure. I can already see it's one I'm going to love. It is Sarisse. So even if Sarisse wasn't this powerful Gala exclusive character, this was someone I really wanted to summon for a while now because of her story with Melsa in Kindness and Captivity, and in the main campaign of the game, she is one of the most endearing and cute characters, so I think they made a really smart move, making her this timed exclusive character on the Gala Dragalia for the first one. And it kind of makes sense if you listen to their Radio Castle program on Fridays, that's only broadcast in Japanese right now, or if you read the translations put out by the community, they were talking a lot about Sarisse recently, so I'm not that surprised to see Sarisse show up here. She is a flame archer support type, and right away, just looking at her stats, she is really powerful. So she has the highest HP of any character in the game, and when you add her HP and strength, she has the highest base stat total of any character in the game, surpassing Julieta in that regard. Now granted, she is a ranged unit, so she has slightly lower defense, but if this is any indication of what Gala Dragalia is going to be about, these are going to be super powerful characters. Let's go ahead and get into her skills and abilities. So basically, Sarisse's kit is all about buffing. Brilliant Bolt, her first skill, deals additional hits for the number of buffs she has, up to 7 extra hits. And her second skill, Cheerful Assist, increases team strength by 20% for 10 seconds the first time it's used, and then the next time it increases team defense by 20% for 15 seconds instead, after which it sort of resets, going back to strength. The cool thing about this is the strength is always welcome, and the defense can be used strategically. So one thing that comes to mind to me, being in a high Midgard Stormer kind of mindset, is for some of the unavoidable attacks, like Storm Chaser and Tattered Sky, having that defense up at the right time is going to be very nice to mitigate the damage of that. Of course, she has Skill Haste being an archer, and then the rest of her kit is so complete and so powerful to go alongside those skills. So Sylvan Strength, too, increases her strength by 2% and critical rate by 1% for 15 seconds for every 20 hit combo. That is actually pretty easy to maintain as an archer. Bows are my favorite weapon type, they have been since the beginning of the game. Eleonora, of course, my favorite character, but honestly you can get up to a 20 hit combo pretty easily because it counts each arrow in your attack sequence, and you can probably get up to 40 or even 60, at which point you'll be able to stack this buff, which is really nice. This also combos with her buff time plus 30%, her final ability, so every time you see 15 seconds in her kit, that's actually going to be more like 19.5 seconds, and every time you see 10 seconds, of course, that's going to be 13 seconds, so that is really nice. But by far the standout thing here is Woodland Blessing 2. She has 100% stun and sleep resistance. This means she is essentially your one-stop character for all flame content right now in the game, or all wind enemies basically, because she has the 2 resistances that are common on flame type adventurers of stun and sleep. Now, this does kind of feel bad for some of those 3-star characters who still only have up to 75% resistance to one of those 2 ailments. But the presence of an ability like that makes me think that we're definitely moving toward content with multiple types of ailments, and hopefully we'll get some kind of skill refinery or training that our older characters can do to enhance their abilities and make them viable again, because this is on a whole nother level of power creep, to be real, that we haven't seen before. Higher base stats than anyone in the game. Double resistance of 100%. That alone would make Sarisse extremely powerful, but her kit itself looks so synergistic too. So all of that said, I am a little worried about the direction this might imply for the game, but from a personal standpoint, I'm super excited to summon for Sarisse. This is the first 5-star I really want to get in the game, and this is a good time to summon, I think, for most players because of the 6% appearance rate as opposed to a normal 4%. So this does change the summoning math quite a bit. For a normal tenfold now, you're going to have a 46% chance of getting a 5-star. And within 2 tenfolds, you're going to have a 73% chance. Within your third tenfold, you're going to have an 87% chance. And within your fourth tenfold, you're going to have a 94% chance of resetting your pity rate by that tenfold and getting at least one 5-star. So that means, essentially, you'll be able to break your pity rate basically a full tenfold sooner, or at least get up past that 9 in 10 chance, a full tenfold sooner than you would on a normal showcase. So you're going to be seeing a lot more 5-stars, and what remains to be seen is, besides Sarisse, what else is going to be on focus here? Are we going to have a raid up dragon? Are we going to have raid up worm prince? Are we going to have raid up 4-stars, or is this just a 5-star exclusive thing? So I'll definitely let you know with my full review of the showcase once it drops tomorrow, but I just wanted to preview Sarisse. I am really happy to see her, and I think this gives us a lot to think about. Previously we had Dragon Special, we had the Platinum Showcase, we had Seasonals, and we had normal showcases. And now this adds another showcase type into the mix with these Gala showcases. So more on that tomorrow when we have more information. But the last thing I want to talk about today is a little bit on New Year's Tidings, wrap things up with my haul, some of the issues I saw with the event. So first of all, here is my emblem count. This is pretty much where I'm going to stop for this event. I might get up to 13,500 gold, just to say that I tripled the normal stopping point of the event completely, with it being 4,500. But honestly, I got really lucky with my pulls, with my random drops, and my technique was to never quit in any of the battles. And unfortunately, I saw a lot of players quitting on the notion that if they didn't get multiple rare drops, it wasn't worth staying into the event. And I really hope that didn't ruin the experience for some of you, because it was disappointing at times for me that it created some really close matches where people quit very early when the second box broke because they didn't see what they liked. And for me personally, I found it more time efficient to just break all the boxes and just continue playing rather than trying that quitting strategy, which felt disappointing to see, especially from hosts. I mean, that's really unsportsmanlike if you're the host. If you're a joiner and you at least tried to get the boss down on low health, I guess that's okay, but a lot of people want to come in and play the game. They don't want to have this grind fest, and so I do hope that Cygames thinks a lot about the outcome of this and the kind of behavior it created in the community. For myself, quitting just didn't feel right, so I played everything through, and also the information on whether quitting was even worth it, or what the drop rates were, wasn't super good. It wasn't data mined or anything, so I played everything through. In the end, I was able to get 20 clovers, 10 single summon tickets, 2 golden fragments, 1 Damascus crystal, and 1 Damascus ingot. So I'll flip through the screenshots of those now. I have all the screenshots of those saved. Besides that, I probably got around 100 succulent dragon fruit and 100 of the consecrated waters, maybe a little bit less on the waters. I'll show you on my upgrade page, but Since I've spent some of these, I don't really know the exact number, but I got a very high amount of them, needless to say. So, for me, the rewards were worth it. That Damascus ingot alone kind of made everything worth it to me. And I actually spent that already to upgrade my 5-star Elemental Flame Sword, which I'll go ahead and show you because I plan to use that eventually and dismantle it to get some extra Twinkling Sand. So that is one of the few ways as a free-to-play player to increase the amount of Twinkling Sand you have. I can get up to 7 by dismantling 2 stages there. But overall, when I think about this event from the perspective of the community, and not just how lucky I was, I do think introducing more randomness wasn't the best idea, and I hope in the future what they do is something like a community endeavors board. Have the community or all the players in the game hit a certain target of boxes broken, and by reaching that target, everybody gets something out of it. I think that would be much more productive, would discourage this type of behavior where players quit, because we saw this also with Resplendent Refrain, because the EX rates were so low, people were quitting if they didn't get the title on their EX runs. And that's not really good, because the people that stay might not be able to beat the boss without your help. So, anyway, I just think that in the future, if you're going to do this, make the rates very clear, and preferably do something where it's more community-oriented, where everybody gets the rewards. Now, one thing everybody is getting is compensation, because there was a glitch where if you broke or put the boss into overdrive while you demolish the gift basket, then sometimes the drops wouldn't spawn from the gift basket. So everybody is getting 3 summon tickets, 3 crystals, and 3 fragments. And based on my experience, that is kind of above what most players would have gotten just by grinding out the event. Now, I know it is disappointing. I've seen some people who got up to 20,000 gold emblems and had this issue affect them a lot. So they indicated like 1 in 3 of their matches they had this issue. For me personally, I didn't have this same issue, and I only had it about 5 or fewer times in my hundreds of runs of this raid. So this is kind of an icing on the cake thing for me, but for people who are really affected by this glitch, maybe this doesn't feel like enough to them. It's not metered to how much you actually played the event, so I can imagine there being a little bit of salt around that, and a little bit of feeling of unfairness, but for me, honestly, this is a really generous reward, and more likely than not, it's more than what you'd have gotten through that grinding anyway. So that's really all I want to say about the raid. Really loved the battle itself, the music, the scenery. That was one of the things that kept me going and feeling able to grind through it. In the end, it was so much with the double stamina recovery that I didn't have time to spend all my ashes and my honey, so you can see they're still here. And instead, I actually spent a lot of my stamina just on Avenue to Fortune at half price to build up some of those rupees to eventually dismantle my elemental sword. All in all, I was pretty happy with this event. I do hope that the next event we have isn't as much of a grind fest, because it's going to be hard to keep up playing this game at that rate. Otherwise, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
The thought that Alberia has its own wonderful forms of poetry fills me with excitement.